So here we'll learn how to create a new storefront on your Infigo platform. So a note on terminology. When we're talking about platform, consider the platform to be the top level of your Infigo system, governing your entire Infigo environment. When we're talking about a storefront, these are individual sites created and sitting within your platforms. For example, you may have one storefront dedicated to a larger customer. This will be branded to them and contain only their products. Alternatively, a different storefront may be home to a larger number of your smaller customers, where they access their products on a generically branded site. Your Infigo package will likely have a supplied number of storefronts. For example, you may be on a 15 storefront package. Please note that we do grant one additional storefront by default. This is present for training, educational, and demo purposes. In this tutorial, we'll demonstrate the process of creating these new storefronts. So to start off with, if we go to the configuration section and navigate down to storefront management. Click on the plus icon and that will reveal this new table here. Now, the resulting table that you see will show all of the storefronts currently present within your platform. So if you're on a brand new storefront and you're a brand new customer, chances are you'll only have one entry or maybe two entries in there. There isn't an entry in here for the platform level itself, so you can see that here on my particular one. Generally, you will not have to access the platform level very often, with most things being controlled on a storefront level. When you do have to access the platform level, the tutorial resources will notify you of that. So to create a new storefront, click on Add New Storefront. So at this point, a form will appear which is prompting you to input some fundamental storefront data prior to initialization of that storefront. So to begin, fill in the store details section. This comprises of a name. So this is the storefront name that you wish to appear on your system. You have an alias. So this is the URL you wish to be appended to your platform URL in order to access this particular storefront. So for example, if I put an alias of demo store 170823 here, what that will mean is that to access this particular storefront, I would go to my platform URL, which in this case is web2printdemo.com, and then it will be / demo store 170823. So that would allow me to access that particular storefront on my platform. We have storefront type that can be either B2B or B2C. Some settings will be configured during the initialization process to facilitate easier setup of each of these. So this is a good thing to select during the configuration process. And then we have a description. This is an admin-only input providing additional storefront information. Coming down a little bit further, we have the ability to select key colors on our storefront. So primarily background, primary and secondary, and an initial text color. So we'll start off just by setting a primary color here. So primary and secondary color as context. These will be used in various locations on your storefront and are often available as a quick reference when you're generating content for your site. So this ensures that you're always on brand and you don't have to input the hex code or the RGB value every time you want to use it. To actually specify a color in here, so you click on the primary color. You can use the actual color picker to navigate through and find the color you want. Alternatively, you can input the relevant data at the bottom of the screen here. If you don't want to input RGB as it is by default, click on these little arrows and it will change the format of the input. At this point, you can upload a logo that will be utilized on your storefront and select the fonts that you want to utilize by default. Once you've completed all of those options, click on OK, and your storefront initialization will begin. Now, this initialization process will usually take around 60 seconds. If you want to take a look at the stage at which that initialization process is, it will be put at the end of this particular list. If I just go to the end, you can see there I have initialization pending, and this will update as the initialization takes place. If you want to refresh this list to see how this process is going, click on the refresh button here. So our storefront is now initialized, and you can see that it's put it into test status first of all. It does this by default. Being in test status just means that you can add customers and place orders nice and freely. And then when you're ready to turn it to a live status, which will be covered in a later tutorial when we're ready to get to that stage, it means that you can very easily clear out all of that customer and all of that order data if you don't need it. So all we need to do now is to actually change so that anything else that we start adding in subsequent tutorials, we're adding to that particular storefront. So this is very easy to do. We just go to the Switch Storefront button at the top of the screen. Now, bear in mind, you will only see this if you're logged in as your platform administrator account, because then you can control various storefronts. Click on Switch Storefront. That will show you a list of all of your available storefronts. You just need to navigate to the one which you want to modify, and then click Select. Once selected, you can verify the correct storefront is now active at the top of the screen.